Well, hello and welcome to Arts and Wellness Cafe. How have you been and what are you drinking? I've already drunk my tea and I've had bay leaf. Again, I have it with just ordinary black tea and some almond milk and sweetened to taste, and that's something that I liked to drink. So how have you been? We have to start with that. How are you? And that's something that you have to think about. You know, you think to yourself, well, how am I feeling? Because very often we're going through, our day-to-day activities and we forget ourselves, really, don't we? And sometimes I have to just stop and think in the moment, because then before you know it, you look around and years have passed by. And so one of the things that I've been doing for myself is about being present. Like, you're eating your meal like I eat now at the table. I mean, I used to every now and again, but then you get sucked into sometimes, oh, let's watch a film or whatever. But more recently, I've been just sitting at the table, and it's like being present with the meal, actually tasting the flavors that you've spent time kind of, putting together in this wonderful dish. And rather than just, before you know it, you're just eating everything and you think, oh, it's take the time and enjoy the food that you're eating. Savor the flavors. Think about the nutrients that are going into your body. And, as you eat, as the flavors combine, that kind of taste, the aromas. So this chair is, can be uncomfortable, and I've got some cushions there. Let me just fix it. Okay, I don't think I have. I might be moving again. But anyway, so that's one of the things that I've been doing, being mindful and thinking about, just thinking about being present, because I think, I'm not sure whether I shared, something happened. So I wrote something 40 years ago, and then it came to light. Somebody else had used it as their own. And it was just like, I think I've kind of addressed the, okay, how did they get it, whatever. But now the glaring elephant in the room is that 40 years have passed. And you just think to yourself, my goodness, where did all the time go? And one of the things that I have done is write an achievements book, because you can very often forget. Like, I thought to myself, when I tried to think back 40 years and where I was, what was I doing 40 years ago? It was just like, wow, there's so many of the things that you do in your life that just kind of whiz by. And at the time I was in a group, I was singing, and as I was speaking to my sister, she reminded me of a concert that we did. It was just a small thing, it wasn't like Wembley Stadium. It was like your local hall. But we were a whole band with, all the instruments and everything. And it was just really interesting to think back, and how those times didn't actually feel like so long ago, but the passage of time had built up, and none of that time in between are you going to get back. So it's to really think about how you're using your time going forward, and think about, I've said before, the years ahead of me are less than the years I've lived. So every single moment is important, and I want you to think about that. And one of the themes for this week is techniques. Well, it's techniques and what was the other one? There's a couple of words that I wanted to just kind of present, and it's supportive and empowered. And so we'll tackle those first. Supportive and empowered. Now, we know what it means to be supportive. We know how we have been supportive to others, to friends and family, and what that means for us when we've needed the support of others. And it's to think about how you are supporting yourself, and it's not in terms of the financial aspect. It's how are you giving yourself support in what you say about yourself, in the things that you do, your day to day, how you spend your time. And that's linking into how you making the most of your time, because as I said, before you know it, the time will have passed. So are you supporting yourself in terms of learning, self-care, entertainment? And that's kind of linked to self-care. And think about all the other things that you could be doing, you know, your environment. How is the state of your environment? Are there things that you can do to kind of declutter? Now, I've known many a person who has been a collector like myself, and who unfortunately who may have been, say, a lot older and may have passed, and you realize how much stuff that we can amass over time. And you know, are you making the most of, as I say, the environment, but the things that you have, are you really enjoying them? Or are they, you know, smothered by other things? Are they laying under a whole pile of stuff? Are they collecting dust in the corner? Have they been relegated to the back of that drawer, the everything drawer? And most of us have them. And I don't want to have an everything's drawer. I want to have, this is for this particular purpose. These are the things that are in the drawer. I want to be able to look across my space and everything has a place. Everything is there for a reason. The techniques is about, you know, what are you doing with your skill? And that's joined in with the learning. What are you doing with the tools that you have? There are so many tools that we have at our disposal. There are so many tools that we have in our presence. Like, even if you just looked at all of these, some of these are for the things behind me. I've got knitting needles up there. Somebody was getting rid of a whole load of new knitting needles, and I was just like, no, we can't. I've got to save them. And I'm sure somebody out there would very much like some knitting needles. So they're probably going to be some of the first things that, as I go through my space, I'm going to say, you know, has that got a purpose right now? Are we using this right now? Sometimes I think, oh, you know, it could be useful for another time. You know, the time will come when I need it. And unfortunately, when I've had these big clear outs, that very sad thing has happened. You know, the very thing that I had that would have been perfect for the task, I gave it away. And so now you have to either buy a new thing, or moan at the fact that, you know, you see, that's why I'm holding on to things. But it's to really look at your space and to say, how is this serving me? And the techniques as well is, as I say, linked with the learning. You know, what new techniques are you learning? What new things, what new experiences are you experiencing? And what new supplies maybe could you add to your arsenal of supplies? How are you using the tools that you have got, and can you find new ways to use them? So I've been very much enjoying my journey into the fabric. And every Monday, usually on a Monday, we do Material Mondays, and I've been sharing some of the things that I have been doing. And I've been working on this large piece, which is, it's mainly just a stitched piece, and I've really enjoyed it more so than just working on a plain piece of fabric, because of the additional work that I've done doing the wax resist, dyeing the piece. And there's just something about it, and even adding the dowels and using them just to keep it like a scroll is something that I've enjoyed, and feels that it's just right. And the fabric, working with the fabric, it just sort of like opened up new compartments in my mind that was really kind of exploring how I paint on fabric and the work that I do on fabric, and how flexible it is, how enjoyable it is to bring so many different elements together. As a mixed media artist, when I work on, say, a canvas, I'm using acrylics, oils, and I do some mixed media on there. So I may add a lot of my pieces. I've added, say, paper clay. Have I added fabric? Yes, I have actually added fabric, and I enjoyed that process. And I am enjoying the process of the stitch, because the stitching is something that is an additional to the painting with brushes, or using clay, or adding fabric, like gluing fabric down. But the stitching is something additional, and it's just a really wonderful, it's a really lovely feeling being able to do that on the fabric. And so I have really been enjoying my time working on those pieces, and also looking at other pieces that I want to finish off. I've had loads of pieces that I've started and I've brought to a certain point, and say maybe just need a backing. And maybe we can just have a look at a couple that I've got to my right, and see how they've been going on. But the other thing is, I still love art journaling. I love teaching and showing people how to, creating their art journals, how to find time. Some of the other things that I'll be doing is looking at how you break down techniques and make it accessible for people, say, who are living with dementia, or who are a carer and want to find ways to use creative activities with somebody that they're caring for. So what I want to do first is we're going to look at the smallest art journal that I've created thus far, and we'll take a look at that, and then what we're going to do is look at some of the fabrics. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take a look at, I don't think it's the world's smallest art journal, but it's the smallest one I've made. And you can see here I've got a cowrie shell, so you can get an idea of the size. And just measuring it, let's do it in, it's 2 centimeters by 1.5. Okay, so it's made up of it's paper that I've drawn on, and then I've created several signatures in this book. It's quite a thick card, and then I've just glued a cover on there. Okay, so we'll just have a quick flick through. And the thing about, you know, journals is that you can make them, I'm making them all the time. I have lots of, you know, like different papers and things that you've worked on, and I just kind of make these small journals for sometimes to do things like this. I've put just encouraging words in them. Or you can put an image. I've also put kind of like just a little, I've done a bit of doodling in there. So let's just flick through and we'll see some of the encouraging words, and I hope some of these words encourage you as well. And so this makes you think, like, you know, well, how small can you go? You know, you can make the most of so many different elements that you may have. And sometimes they are too small and they just go into your scrap. But other times, like if you are going to make more of, you know, on the smaller side, then a lot of the scraps then become treasures. And there's always something that you can find. It's supposed to be discern. But sometimes that's all you've got time for, to make something small like this, and why not? The things that you can do with this is I can put it on a, you know, like a necklace thing. I can make a necklace, a rope. I can still go back in and do some more doodling if I want, but I like it as is, and I'll probably, it's nice to make some more. You know, so you can make some really nice necklaces with like mini journals and things like that. And that's where I kind of started off from, that I was thinking of doing, and then just ended up making a few of these. So I've got a few of these, and sometimes I have these little matchboxes that I can put them in. But yeah, that's my mini journal. Hope that inspires you, and you can make anything mini. It's just sometimes the fingers and thumbs get in the way. That's what I find sometimes, but yeah, that's what I like doing with some of my supplies. So let's get back. Right, so yes, one of the smallest art journals that I've made. So let's have a look at, well, and especially, like as I say, it's like 2 centimeters by 1.5 centimeters. You can see the difference in size. But let's now look at a couple of pieces of fabric as we move on and check out some more things. Okay, so as well as some of the pieces I've finished, these are a couple of pieces that I had worked on before. We are close, aren't we? Let's come out a bit. Okay, so this one I'm thinking I need to do some more stitching on, so I may work on that actually. But I was looking at providing a backing. I mean, I really do like the way it looks now. So we'll sit with this for a bit, but I was creating a backing for this one and this one as well. This one you would have seen me work on in Material Mondays. And so what I've got to do now is do the backing for this one. And we've got another one here. Gosh, this one, I haven't seen this one for a while, but I had done this, and it's not as detailed in terms of all the kind of embellishments that I've placed on it. But I was thinking I've learnt a new technique to do with hair, so I might actually do add that to this piece, to the hair, to the locks. We'll see. Yeah. But this has been wax resist and dyed, and then I just painted the different areas. So that was a nice piece. And then I found this, I've got this particular fabric, which now the sun has come out, you're going to have a hard time seeing, but essentially that's that. So let's get back. They're the three so far. The sun's coming in to the studio and we're going to be bathed in a lot of light in a while. So a couple of new things that have happened is that I've released my new, it's a digital colouring book. You can obviously print it out, but I've also provided video for you so that you can see ways in which I have altered the and I've got it here. Yes, I do. Do I? Yep. Yep. Yay. Yeah, so I've got it here. It's called Colour With Me, Pages and Tags. And it's this, and you can print it out. There are 14 different images and corresponding tags for those images. There's me looking at it again. So in the video, so there we have it. I started working, well, I printed off another page because this is nice for smaller bits of work that you can do. So that's the main page, but this is a page that I coloured in, and I show you how you can, you know, reuse it in your art journal or make some other things with it. And yeah, they come with, you know, so there's some nice images that then come with corresponding tags as well that you can use, and you can make a whole range of things. So that's nice. That's on my course platform, so if you go over there, and if you've never been on my course platform, I've got at least 3 free courses, and I have the Arts Resource Hub, and what that is a space where I provide information on different courses, some inspirational materials, some digital downloads that are free, some information about, say, you know, a particular YouTube video that I've created or technique video. So I put a whole load of things in the Arts Resource Hub, and it's updated on a weekly basis so that you can, you know, find courses or classes that may be free. We've just recently had the well, not we, but I didn't put them on, but they were hosted by, one was Kate Ward and Zen, what was it called? Making Zen? Yeah, Making Zen. And there was like 20 different lessons. That was really nice. And I've shared in the Material Mondays some of the things that I made. Then you had the Lifebook Taster sessions with Tam and Willowin Arts. She did a free week. So I share all of those kinds of things, and obviously if there are discounts associated with taking out their main course, I'll leave the links there. So it's definitely have a look. There's a quote every week as well. Yeah, so definitely have a look and see some of the things that I placed there. But yeah, the Colour With Me, that's the newest, the latest. I haven't as yet shared it widely over social media, but I will be. The other thing that we're having is, or that we had, is the International Art In, and it was initially organised by Tanya Ahmed and Wendy Soul. Wendy at Willow Wonders, and then there were several other artists, myself included, who was part of the committee, who, you know, shared a lot of the information as well. And it was a great time of us coming together and creating in a peaceful space. And we spent 2 hours, and I've been just working again on this. Usually I spend a little time kind of doing a few of the lines. I do maybe 2 or 3 lines, but it was nice just to spend I was on it for at least half an hour, and then I did something else, then I came back to it, and then it was just going from, you know, finding little projects that I can add to. So that was really nice. So it's really just finding ways in which you can, as I say, use what you have, bring it together with what you have, and think about, you know, ways in which you can even maybe collaborate with other people. It's important to be able to reach out and to not kind of find yourself isolated too much. If you're as an artist, depending on where you are, like you might be in a studio with other people, or so you might share a studio, or you might be doing work that brings you into contact with people. But for a lot of us, we're in our studio space and we're working on a particular thing. So you need to have community. And that's one of the things that I try and push on my course platform. I know that, you know, everybody does, you're not there every day. And I've joined several course platforms that, you know, it's for months I don't go back. But it's finding a community of people that you feel comfortable in sharing and learning from each other and growing, because that's how we do grow. And it's important that we take the time. And so, as I say, you know, that's supportive, the word supportive and empowered. It's about us, you know, finding community and developing that. And thinking about the things that we need to establish for ourselves, and also loving ourselves enough to make the changes that are necessary to grow and to make the most of everything that you have available to you. The other thing I would like to drop in there is on my Patreon, I've got a 7-day free trial. So you can come and enjoy all of the resources I've put on there. We have over 400 posts, which include digital downloads, videos, Patreon-only videos, and other resources. So come try it out, see what you feel, and if you want to stay and stick around, you're most welcome. But it's free for 7 days. You don't have to, you know, there's no obligation to stay. But it will be nice if, you know, it's just really nice to be able to see how you can make use of some of the things I can share. And I love it when I see you, you know, other people have been inspired to use some of the resources that I provide. So that's something that you can also come and check out. And yeah, just come back, you know, make sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube, and spend time being creative and just find joy in everything that you do and being an inspiration to others. So I'm going to leave it there for the Arts and Wellness Cafe. What I will do, as I say, I'm creating some resources. So we're going to be having some additional resources available, especially for those who are, you know, in a caring role, or who are living with dementia, and also some things for around the Christmas season, things that you can do. So just some information, and there will also be some courses coming up, very low fee courses, taken into consideration for a lot of people who are carers. I know that for me, for a while when I was caring for mum, it was quite a tight struggle. For a lot of people, there are no resources that are available. So where I can provide resources, you know, I want you to be able to make the most of it. So come to my course platform, make the most of the free courses. Every month I give away a free digital download that you can use. So if you don't have things like certain background papers and things like that, you can make the most of what's been provided, or, you know, do some of the classes. Check out some of my YouTube videos that show you how to work on backgrounds, creating backgrounds, working in your art journal. Lots of courses, lots of sessions that will help you develop your own backgrounds. So I hope, yeah, that you make the most of the resources, and let me know how you're getting on. And, you know, we're coming up to the Christmas period. They're already in the shops talking about Christmas, and there's Christmas decorations. And for a lot of people, it can be a very difficult time. I know I've had a challenge over the years, because that was the most challenging time, you know, looking after mum, and just the whole, how we used to spend Christmas as children and young adults, and then how it was very different, and it could be very stressful. But if you can put some things in place, you can make it as stress-free as possible. And as I say, there'll be resources for you to be able to access over the next, probably by mid-November, I should have quite a few of the resources available in the Arts Resource Hub on my course platform. But, you know, so sign up to the course platform, it's free, and check out some of the free resources, and then look out in the Arts Resource Hub for the new resources for that if you need extra support, some of the things that you can do, and it just makes some suggestions. So I hope that you stay blessed. Thank you for joining me, and have a blessed day.